Seekers. Welcome back. Zach here. It's April 13th, 2017. There's a whole lot of Wag the Dog in the media today. If you've never seen the movie Wag the Dog, that's a must-watch if you want to know what's really going on in this world. That's one of the most important Hollywood movies ever made because it blatantly told the audience what is truly going on in this world with manufactured news to distract people, even making up war. So, with regards to today's headlines, April 13th, Wag the Dog, let's get into it. Just so you know, down in the description, I'm also going to link my video on Wag the Dog. I like that video out of all the videos I've ever made. It's one of my favorite. But April 13th, 2017, we saw the Prime Minister of Japan come out today and said North Korea might have Sarin Gas missiles. This is a week after the supposed Sarin Gas attack in Syria, which was complete propaganda. I exposed it last week. It was straight from Wag the Dog. Today, the leader of Syria also came out and said that it was a fabricated story. He also said it was a contrived story by the West to stage a military campaign in his country. And what people need to know is the leader of Syria, just like the Prime Minister of Japan, just like the Orange Oompa Loompa Donald Trump, just like all the leaders in Europe, Australia, all corners of the world. The world is under the New World Order. All of these people are puppets on strings playing their part in the show. Even Syria, the one who's the victim, seemingly, of the propaganda. The leader of Syria is not the victim, and he's willing to play his part in the puppet show. Today, his line is coming out and telling the truth. And here in America, people have already been trained to think that this Bashar-al Assad is evil and not credible. So him coming out and saying it's fake, people will just go, well, that's this bad, awful man saying it's fake. Notice how the media emphasize the fabricated, the Gematria 42. In case you're new here, that's the stamp of the Freemasons, and the New World Order is run by Freemasonry, and it's run by the numbers, which we'll get to. So another headline today. While the United States is busy telling people who can't have bombs and who should be targeted because they might have bombs, supposedly today we dropped the largest bomb outside of a nuclear bomb on Afghanistan, and today's news has everything to do with the contrived Third World War that was written about by Albert Pike. Albert Pike, the Freemason, during the time of the Civil War, said there'd be 3 world wars. It would be Christianity versus Islam. These news headlines are all taking us there. And the thing to understand is, no matter how fake or contrived the news is, this is going to have real consequences for people. A lot of youth will end up getting sent off to be on patrol, stationed, get involved in armed conflict that doesn't need to happen. Also, banker tyrants can make a little money. Stay in control. So let's go through this. Let's break down the news. Let's start with why the Prime Minister of Japan was led today to bring this accusation against North Korea, the Sarin Gas missiles. There's a reason it's happening today. It has everything to do with the Sarin Gas attack on the subways in Japan in 1995, March 20th, which we'll get to. That was the date Operation Shock and Awe began at the beginning of the Second Gulf War. The day of heavy bombing in Baghdad was March 22nd. Anyway, Shinzo Abe in Gematria. All of these numbers are interesting, but if you've been following my work with the Sarin Gas attack and April 4th, and the significance of 144, this is the number that pops out. Shinzo Abe talking about Sarin Gas attack today. Shinzo Abe 144, Sarin Gas attack 144. Remember, the last one was a week ago, April 4th. When you write out April 4th, 144, just like when you write out 44, the name of the town that was struck sums to 144, which was also true in 2013 when there was a Sarin Gas attack in Syria. And this is part of a long, ongoing, repetitive pattern. That Sarin Gas attack last week, April 4th, came on the 33-year anniversary of Ronald Reagan giving his speech about banning chemical weapons. 33 years later. Reagan was the 33rd governor of California before becoming president. But anyhow, this word sarin, let's not forget either that it has gematria of 74 alone. The sarin gas attack in Syria, which was made up for the media, came 74 days after Donald Trump became president. Then Trump issued the 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles fired at Syria, bombing the old abandoned base, all made for television. Propaganda. Anyhow, Sarin 74, Masonic 74, special number to the gang. Look at this. Shinzo Abe, he's 62 right now. The word Mason 62. Remember March 3rd, 3/3, the 62nd day of the year. The full name for sarin is sarin nerve gas, which also happens to have gematria of 62, possibly part of the reason he was chosen for this. But just look how perfect this is. From today to his upcoming birthday is 161 days, right? Kind of like 1.61 phi. Phi equals 33 in gematria. Phi is the golden ratio. Talk more about 33. But anyway, 161 days, the group, the said cult from Japan that's responsible for the sarin gas attack of March 20th, 1995, their name, Aum Shinrikyo, gematria of 161. You know, 161 days till his upcoming birthday. He's talking about sarin gas attack in his own country. There was supposedly one in 1995 where 12 people were killed. The name of that group, just like the days until his upcoming birthday. And we know that when these people are used as puppets on the international stage, their number is chosen because of how it lines up with where they are in regards to their birthday. Every single time. The founder of this group, his name was Shoko Ashara, which in gematria sums to 117, like Central Intelligence Agency. The CIA is more than the United States of America. You know, the New World Order, a very real thing. The leader of the New World Order in terms of military aggression and staging false flags, it's very clear that it's the United States of America. And our CIA does collaborate with all of its government allies and do the same kind of stuff worldwide. You know? 117, just like Central Intelligence Agency, a number we talk about a lot. Notice this overlap with his name in 45 and 13 and CIA 13. Come back up here to the leader's name, Shinzo Abe, and sarin gas attack. If you've ever heard about the Illuminati's Freemasonry, to Freemasonry 13 is very important. And 13, one of their signature numbers that pertains, you know, so often when we're decoding how this propaganda is made. But just want you to see this parallel here. So, the subway attack of 1995 happened on March 20th, Tokyo. It happened on a date with 137 numerology. March 20th, 1995, date with 137 numerology, the 33rd prime. And this group that's responsible for it was reportedly established in 1984. You know, 84, George Orwell, Fabian Society. 84. That's 33 years ago now, you see? 33 years later, you got the Prime Minister of Japan talking about sarin gas from his birthday to today, you know, syncs up with the name of the people responsible. The date they did it, a date with a connection to 33. See how routine it is? Again and again all throughout history. March 20th is the 71st day of the year. Actually, I made a mistake here. March 20th is the 79th day of the year. And I need to correct that. That's a mistake in the blog post. But 79 is relevant because that's a number for murder. You know, this is a planned attack. 79 is also the number for the synagogue of Satan. Whoops, I forgot my end. The synagogue of Satan, the name of the false Jews said to rule in the end times. Your New World Order is run by Freemasons, Zionist Jews at the top. That's who's controlling the world's money, and that's who's controlling everything under it. You know, we've made money the pinnacle of this world. Let's see. Did I get rid of my blog post? Well, anyway, we covered... What did I just do, Truth Seeker? I think I accidentally got rid of the blog post. Or here it is. My fault. So I thought it was the 71st day of the year. I was tripping there. It's the 79th. They did say, though, that 12 people were killed in the report, and the square root of 144 is 12. And again, Sarin Gas attack, which this was, 144. 12 dead from the Sarin Gas attack in the subway. I guess I could have looked at some more of these words. Subway 91, when you sum every number 1 through 13. When you sum every number 1 through 13, it sums to 91 to bring us back to 13 again. It's funny that a 71 comes up. You know, I subliminally thought it was the 71st day of the year, but again, when you write out 71, it sums to 144. So we got a subway attack. You see? You see how it all comes together? What else was it? Tokyo, I could have looked more at that. Tokyo 86 like symbol. I could get more into these other numbers, but it's okay. I don't want to overwhelm. The point is, these rituals, they're carried out worldwide by the New World Order, by the numbers, again and again. Remember, this year, they're telling us the leader of North Korea is 33 years old again. I did a video on this. Last year, the media made a big deal about him turning 33. I got videos on it. Big deal in the news when he turned 33 and they had the atomic bomb test over there. Then this year, they're making a big deal about him turning 33 again. This year, he turned 33 for the second year in a row, and now his birthday is 1984. If you look up this man's birthday this year, all media says he's born in 1984 and turned 33 again. 1984, you know. Look, the reason they did this is because this is all part of the ongoing New World Order ritual. The Korean War, after World War II, began on George Orwell's birthday, June 25th. North Korea, South Korea. North Korea was backed by Russia, South Korea by the U.S. U.S.-Russia back then, after World War II. So that war began on George Orwell's birthday, who had just died earlier in the year. George Orwell wrote the book about the nation always at war with countries overseas. Then on his birthday, and not to mention George Orwell was a member of the Fabian Society established in 1884. But anyway, this year they turned the leader's name. Last year the leader was born in 1983. This year he's born in 1984. What's his name? Kim Jun... Yeah, I forget. Kim... There. Is this the right one or is this his father? Here he is, born January 8th, 1984. A year ago, I have video showing how he was born in 83 and was 33 years old. But it's just so, you know, comical. 84, that number. All part of the Masonic New World Order agenda. Masonry 84, Jesuit 84, United States of America 84. They probably want Kim to be 33 forever because the name Kim also has gematria 33. But anyway, if you doubt what I'm saying, I mean, just go back and watch my video from last year when he turned 33. And then watch my video from this year when he turned 33. How do you turn 33 2 years in a row? This media is a joke. So, okay, we covered the Japan Prime Minister coming out today talking about sarin gas, North Korea. And then on the same day, later in the day, the U.S. drops the bomb on Afghanistan. Now, why is this happening today? They say the bomb was dropped at 1900 hours in Afghanistan. 19 is the most special number to the Quran. Islamic, Afghanistan, you know, a lot of different religions in Afghanistan, but predominantly Islamic. Today's date, April 13th, 2017, date with 54 numerology, date with 27 numerology, date with 18 numerology. All those numbers break down to 9. Notice what Islam equals in gematria. 18, 27, 54, just like the date. We're dropping the biggest bomb outside of a nuclear bomb, you know, on this country that we've been terrorizing since September 11th. Remember, all the hijackers are from Saudi Arabia, and the Israelis were here to document the attack who got sent back to their country. Israel, Saudi Arabia are allies who we give millions of dollars to every year. Afghanistan, a non-related country that we've invaded and apparently stolen all their resources from their mountains. If we really bombed this country, it might have been to blow up the mountains to get more resources out of them. Honestly, I mean, that's really what's going on. It's war for profit. You know, it's war for industry. Also, we've got the poppy production way up, you know, heroin use way up throughout the entire world. You guys want to know how real heroin use is? I have a neighbor who's my age, who has children and a job, and a little more than a year ago got hooked on heroin, but he's holding his life together, largely thanks to the fact that I keep peeing for him so that he can have clean urine at work. And, you know, it's like I don't know what to do. You know, it's not like I've been telling him he needs to quit and he won't quit, but this is what the New World Order wants. They've got communities full of these drugs because they want people, you know, they want a nation of addicts. They want people that they can throw in their for-profit prisons, you know. But Islamic people, the media is trying to demonize them. You know, all religious people, you know, they all have their faults. They all think their religion's greater. But what I have seen from living in this nation, there's a lot of Islamic people that live in the United States of America now. I used to teach in a school district where it was over half the classroom had Muslim parents. Islamic people are very kind people. And in the poor community that I taught in for a while, I noticed that the Islamic parents, by and large, were more caring for their children, more involved than the parents of other spiritualities. So, you know, Islam is love, they'll tell you. And look, even in Gematria, major overlap. We're dropping the bomb on the Islamic nation by the numbers today. Or at least so we're told. Is it more Wag the Dog? Very, very possible. Notice they say it was a 21,600-pound bomb, GPS guided, an MC-130 aircraft, General John Nicholson giving us the details. It stands for Massive Ordnance Air Blast Bomb, or Mother of All Bombs, an MOAB. Mother of All Bombs sums to 68. Think about the date Hiroshima was bombed. August 6th. 6/8 in most parts. We'll talk more about that. Massive Ordnance Air Blast Bomb, as it's spelled, also has gematria of 174, like New World Order, like Number of the Beast. That 21,600 pounds, lose the zeros. You got 216. 6 times 6 times 6. 666, the number of the beast. 6 times 6 times 6. 216. You see? They said it was dropped on the Aiken district. I almost wonder if that's like a joke, like aching, like hurting. Aiken district, though, has gematria of 137, the 33rd prime, War Games 33. There's that film War Games, came out in 1983. War Games. Hollywood trying to clue us in. The general's name, General John Nicholson. Notice in gematria, 66 and 156, just like when you write out 33. The general who gave us these details about the bomb being dropped on the Aiken district. To me, all this stuff, you know, clearly biblical. Man's false prophecy. Albert Pike's letter. The Third World War, Christianity versus Islam. The plane that dropped it, an MC-130, the numbers don't make any difference in gematria. That could say 800,090,090. It wouldn't make any difference. It's just the two letters. MC in Jewish gematria is 33. You know? MC-130 dropped it on the Aiken district. 137. The 33rd prime. They also said it's called Nangarhar province where the bomb went off. They said they were evaluating the damage. They didn't have a report. Nangarhar province, gematria of 94. When you write out 94, 147 like Freemason. If you missed my video on the death of Dan Rooney today, these numbers very much pertain. They so often do. They pertained, you know, speaking of which, they just pertained last week with the chemical weapons attack on the 94th day of the year. Chemical weapons, 147, April 4th, the 94th day of the year, you know. Conspiracy. They had that doctor. I already forget what his name was. Was it Abdul Israel? I'm missing a letter. But remember that doctor that they had to put out the propaganda? His name was 147. I have a video on it if you want to go back and look. Also, this phrase, largest non-nuclear bomb, gematria of 96, like Freemason, you know, just another Freemason coding. Always is. This is the gang, you know, that works by the numbers. This old esoteric knowledge, this old world magic. But also, just speaking of the number of the beast and a big expensive thing like dropping a bomb, think about NASA, which is the military. Look at what NASA stands for. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, 666, number of the beast. How about that? They say the tilt of the Earth is 23.4 degrees, meaning it's 66.6 degrees off a 90-degree angle. The word or phrase for National Aeronautics and Space Administration also sums to 441. That's the square root is 21. Bible equals 21. It's the Bible that teaches about 666. Saturn equals 21. NASA, major Saturn tributes. See NASA's recent announcement about what they're going to do with Cassini, destroying it by the numbers of Saturn. It was Stephen Bell who pointed this out to me. Looks like a young man. Thank you, Stephen. Much appreciated. When he posted that to me, I was like, how didn't I catch that already? But like I say, I mean, that's why it's worth applying the knowledge. I always miss some of the most obvious things. Also, I had a realization recently. Iraq and Afghanistan in gematria, 322. Military-industrial complex, 322. Skull and Bones member George W. Bush, 322. In office when we began these wars needlessly. After the staged demolition of the World Trade Centers. And the whole time we've been at those wars, they've been talking about Iran and North Korea. I mean, look at how we're having wars on the borders of Iran while talking about what a big bully they are. That's just why America's so sick, and the American people are sick for not seeing how sick their country is. I mean, we're terrorizing nations, and at the same time we're terrorizing other nations. Can you imagine if there was a country on the other side of the world and they were bombing the hell out of Mexico and Canada, and then making news about what a bunch of assholes the United States of America is and how that's a terrorist state and something needs to be done about them? As an American, wouldn't you go, they're saying we're a bunch of assholes, they're bombing both of our neighbors and talking like they need to bomb us next. I mean, wouldn't that just be so easy to see through? It is so easy to see through. You have to be blind to not see what's going on in this world. They're saving Iran. I'll show you what Iran is. Iran's got that 42 code. Like war. Like World War. You know? Like Freemason. Like Zionism. Like history. You know? War for economics. You know? There's a whole lot more, Truth Seeker. Look at the 147 too, of course. So before I get too long in the tooth, let's hit a few more points. These numbers, they're symbols, they're rituals. Eye of Providence, one of the most famous symbols in the world. Eye of Providence in gematria sums to 86, just like symbol, like triangle, like pyramid, like republic, like citizen. And think about the bombing of Hiroshima on August 6th, or 8/6 as we write in the U.S. Being ruled over with symbols by the numbers. Think about what getting 86 means, to get rid of. They say the last pilot who was on that plane for the bombing died at age 93. Number of Saturn, the keeper of time and judgment. Plus a whole lot more. There's so many interesting things with the plane that bombed Hiroshima, the Enola Gay, and the pilots that flew on it. August 6, 1945 was also a date with 33 numerology. A symbol in itself. Number used again and again in these remembered stories. From the Sarin Gas attack in the Japan subway to, the bombing of Hiroshima and so much more. We just had this headline, April 4th. White House, the clock has now run out. Notice how they emphasize that. The clock has now run out, 86. That number. North Korea that day being connected in the headlines with Syria. And now a week later, Syria, North Korea, and Sarin Gas. You see how this works? Here's another thought I have about today. And the news, the warmongering, the fear-mongering, the big bombs supposedly going off in Afghanistan. from the Bible. These people are playing from the Bible. They're playing from the spiritual texts. Matthew is the first book of the New Testament, the Christian part of the Bible. And real quick, if you've never read Matthew, it begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. New Testament equals 42, also 66. The 66th book of the Bible is the concluding book of the Bible, Revelation, the final book of the New Testament. There's 39 books in the Old Testament, 27 in the New Testament, which begins with Matthew. But anyway, New Testament 42, like Freemason, we just talked about this number. Look at the Crusades. Think about how many wars have been waged in the name of the Bible. We just talked about 42 with war and World War. April 2nd, 1941, the date that FDR got the ball rolling for us to get into World War II. April 2nd. Not by coincidence. April 11th of this year, 11/4. Look at World War, 114, History 114, Holocaust 114, Pearl Harbor 114. What was in the headlines on November 4th? Or not November 4th, April 11th. We had Sean Spicer apologizing for his remarks having to do with the Holocaust, and we had an Asian man being dragged down the aisle of an airplane. Pearl Harbor, Holocaust, Asian man plane. They said his name was David Dow, the Asian man, just like Hawaii, you know, just like masonry, just like secrecy, just like order, just like federal, just like war games, you know. So anyway, Matthew, first book of the New Testament, first of 27 books, Matthew 24:6. From the King James Bible, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. That means don't worry. That means don't panic. You know, don't panic. From that book that makes the number 42 so famous, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The 147 is no coincidence. These numbers are coded all over that book. Number 42 is the answer to life in that book. See my video on all the 42 and 147 in that story. But anyway, see that ye not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. This is what we live in, a world where they mock us this way. You know, they give us the scary stuff on TV, but, you know, they probably think, well, those people that are good and know their Bibles, they know not to worry. Matthew, in Gematria, 27, right? Today's date, life lesson number 27. We talked about this with Islam. Today's also April 13th, the 103rd day of the year, the 27th prime number. You know, Matthew, this verse about war and rumors of war. Right now they're telling us the biggest bomb ever is dropped with no footage. That's not like our news. They love to show big bombs going off with somebody yelling Allahu Akbar in the background. Why don't we have that today? We'll probably have it by tomorrow. But again, we live in this age of deception and special effects. What's coded into these verses, you know, very interesting. And ye shall hear the wars and rumors of wars. The first part, 441, which breaks down to 21, which brings us back down to the Bible and Saturn. A whole lot of Saturn symbolism in the Bible, because Saturn is old world, you know, knowledge. Older than Christianity. The most distant planet, the sixth planet. The part about see that ye not be troubled, having gematria of 333, that's the part that really jumps out at me. A lot of these numbers do, you know. But 333 is the number that goes with the Freemason compass. The Zionist nation of Israel established on the 333rd day in the year 1947. The Freemason compass set at 47 degrees. The Freemason compass stands for circumscribe our desires and keep our passage within due bounds. One sec. Alright, sorry, got interrupted. Anyhow, the compass, which is set at 47 degrees, its motto, circumscribe our desires and keep our passions within due bounds, sums to 333. Freemasonry is based in the Old Testament, Jewish history, Solomon's Temple. Think about the Zionist nation of Israel being established on the 333rd day, November 29th of 1947, which it was by a 33-member vote from the United Nations. Show you something about the United Nations. The United Nations is all Freemasonry. The 57 and 165 are the numbers to keep your eye on. It's the Scottish Rite that's running this world. You see? Scottish Rite also has their coding like New Testament. And NASA this year is blowing up their Cassini on September 15th. You know, Cassini 74 like Masonic. NASA, you know, it's massive. Military, NASA, just everything in this world that is given to us through the television. Let's not forget what the TV is. TV 42 like Freemason. You know? This is how they're reaching us. This is how they're getting us with their nonstop programming, and they're controlling the whole show by the numbers. A lot of people can't comprehend it, but that's because they don't understand how well established this system is, how long it's been going on, how well versed people are in it, and how many people are helping run it. Look at how myself, as just one man, can decode so much of it. Imagine you got thousands of people, which they do, helping orchestrate it, you know? Compass also has the 666 connection. If you follow my channel, you know the relevance of these numbers. There's a lot that's coded into that motto. But anyway, we were talking about the 333 in terms of not being worried by the rumors of war, straight from the Bible, which is coded to the teeth in gematria. So anyway, we'll wrap it up there, Truth Seeker. The video's already, you know, longer than I wanted it to be, as always. It takes time to explain these things, but just real quick, make sure I covered all these slides. All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.